Goodness. Alex, grabe. Congratulations. Ha, grabe yung laban. Kwento mo sa amin, ano nangyari after the first set? Anong sinabi mo sa sarili mo? Saan ka humugot ng lakas na makabawi pa after that first set loss?
Alam mo, hindi ako masyadong nadismaya sa first set. Kasi okay naman yung palo ko. Masaya ako sa level ng competition. At nagkaroon din ako ng mga chances, no? Ng set point, mga break points. Kaya hindi ako masyadong nadismaya. At yan, kaya namang lumaban. So.
3 hours and 20 minutes on court. 4 set points evaporating in the opener. Facing a seasoned competitor who specializes in grinding out matches that should belong to someone else. Then Alex Eala stepped up to the press room and delivered something that caught everyone off guard. Not through theatrics, but through a composure so unshakable, it recontextualized everything that had just unfolded. Drop your thoughts in the comments. After hearing Eala break down her mindset on expectations, development, and her place among the elite in Miami, do you believe she's heading straight to the championship match in 2026? Let us know where you stand.
Really long match today and the win.
I'm really happy with the match today. I really had to dig deep. I know that Laura is such a fighter, so I'm happy with my patience and my strength, both physically and mentally today.
Begin with what the official record states, then examine what it conceals. Alex Eala took down Laura Siegemund 6-7, 6-3, 6-3 across 3 hours and 20 minutes at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, securing her spot in the third round of the 2026 Miami Open. That's the data that enters the draw, feeds the ranking system, and contributes to the points she's accumulating toward a potential top 20 placement by tournament's end. What the numbers fail to capture is that Eala commanded 4 opportunities to claim the opening set and couldn't close on any of them. Siegemund, a battle-tested competitor whose entire career has been built on stealing matches from opponents who held the advantage, seized those squandered moments and claimed the tiebreak 8-6 to snatch the first set. At precisely that juncture, the weight of returning to the venue that transformed her trajectory last season, on the identical surface, before the same passionate Filipino supporters who had turned Hard Rock Stadium into her personal fortress, was bearing down on her while trailing by a set against someone who wasn't going to hand over the rest of this contest without a fight.
Congratulations on a big win today. You're so popular.
Oh,
and you're dealing with it. It's incredible. And we talked to James Blake a little bit, and he said he has to give you center court. What is it like with all the adulation? How are you handling it? And anything you want to say to your fans? Thank you.
I like to think that I'm handling it pretty well. Of course, I'm super grateful to all my fans because they really, they take the time out of their days to come see me. It's a lot of effort to go out and to come to these events, so I hope they have fun. They purchase tickets, so they're spending their hard-earned money to come see us. So I'm really grateful for that.
Then Eala marched into the second set and claimed it 6-3, moved into the third and took it 6-3, refusing to glance backward. The blown set points in the opener never became the narrative. She simply recalibrated and dominated the final 2 frames with the kind of measured command that makes 3.5-hour battles appear surprisingly straightforward in the final results. When questioned about it afterward, her explanation became the most revealing element of the entire encounter. She spoke about having to reach deep within herself, acknowledged Siegemund's warrior mentality, and expressed satisfaction with her own patience and fortitude, both physical and psychological. Then she offered something about that first set that made people take notice. She revealed that even after dropping it, her immediate thought was that she had delivered a solid opening set and performed when crucial moments arrived. Consider that statement carefully. She surrendered the first frame despite holding 4 chances to win it, in a must-win situation at the tournament where every spotlight is trained on her, and her internal monologue essentially concluded that the set was high quality and she competed well when stakes were highest, so move forward. That's not the mindset of someone wrestling with anxiety. That's the perspective of someone who has truly absorbed the concept that a single set represents information, not judgment, not prophecy, just raw data about how the match is unfolding and what adjustments need implementation. She emphasized that all the preparation had been completed before competition began. That outlook is essential to comprehending why she processed losing the opener the way she did. She wasn't stepping onto center court hoping circumstances would align favorably. She was entering it certain that her groundwork had been comprehensive enough to manage whatever adversity emerged. When the first set went sideways, 4 set points unconverted, tiebreak lost, the foundation held. Panic never entered the equation. She regrouped. The second set essentially showcased what Eala looks like operating at maximum capacity once mental obstacles have been eliminated. She grabbed an early break and maintained command through powerful service games, including 2 love holds, stayed aggressive returning serve, broke again late to close out 6-3. Siegemund, who had spent the opening set constructing momentum through tactical disruption and extended exchanges, suddenly found herself without solutions against an opponent who had simply elevated her level. The third set continued that pattern, but with heightened pressure. Eala saved breakpoints early, the type of moment in a deciding frame where matches can unravel rapidly if momentum changes hands. She prevented the shift. She converted an aggressive return game to establish a 2-0 lead. Siegemund briefly mounted a threat with a breakback, exactly the move experienced players make in third sets when they sense control slipping. But Eala responded instantly. Another break made it 3-1. Composed shot-making and timely serving handled the remainder. She served for the match at 5-3 and finished it. The victory roar at the conclusion was authentic and forceful and completely warranted for 3.5 hours of that specific brand of tennis. She explained in her interview that she invests everything into matches of this magnitude. Every contest at this tier feels like survival because the competition is so tight and the standards so elevated. She referenced the circuit she's navigated this season, the Australian Open, Manila, the 500-level events, all elite competition. The benchmark is legitimate. She recognizes it, and the emotion displayed at match's end represents the natural release of everything invested in surviving and conquering it. Then she offered something that reshapes the entire Miami 2026 narrative in meaningful ways. She stated it means everything to her, and it examined her development. She emphasized that she has evolved as an individual since last year, expressed gratitude for being able to compete, praised Siegemund as an incredible fighter, then repeated that phrase about improving as a person from last year. That's a deliberate and specific word choice. Not improved as a competitor, though she has, but as a human being. The maturity to process a dropped set and continue fighting, the composure to avoid emotional reactions when the match isn't flowing cleanly, the patience to engage in 3.5 hours of physically taxing tennis without losing the mental clarity that makes late-set decision-making dependable. These aren't technical abilities that coaches work on during practice sessions. These are characteristics that emerge through experience and introspection, and the particular type of growth that occurs when a 20-year-old must navigate everything the past 12 months have placed before Alex Eala. The pressure discussion she conducted in the interview was among the most genuine statements offered in any post-match setting at this tournament. She acknowledged that pressure definitely exists returning to Miami. She's defending 390 ranking points from last year's semifinal appearance. An early exit would damage her position. Everyone with any tennis knowledge understands what's riding on this specific event for her. And then she stated, "But I'm satisfied because I've been performing well all year. This isn't the tournament where everything hangs in the balance." That's the declaration of someone who possesses perspective on her own career that most competitors only acquire much later. She's not approaching Miami like it's the only thing of consequence, because it isn't the only thing of consequence. The Australian Open mattered, Dubai mattered, Indian Wells mattered, the FIBA MVP mattered. The entire opening quarter of 2026 has been a sustained demonstration that she's a consistent top 30 player who's still ascending. Miami is part of that trajectory, a significant component, but not the complete picture. That perspective is what distinguishes her approach from the panic-inducing pressure that causes players to tighten in critical moments. She walked onto that center court understanding she had already been performing well this season, that her game was in strong shape, and that the Miami outcome would be one indicator in a season already trending positively. When the first set slipped away, that context enabled her to remain composed. It wasn't catastrophic. It was one set in one match in one tournament in a year, already proving something substantial. She then discussed her career progression in a manner revealing she conceptualizes it as a long-term undertaking rather than isolated results requiring management. She mentioned witnessing the work she invests behind the scenes materialize on court. Stated that even when she loses, it's always part of the journey. An athlete who has genuinely internalized that losing is part of the process, not as a platitude they recite to media members, but as an actual framework for evaluating their own development, is an athlete who is genuinely difficult to crack mentally, because no single adverse result can derail someone measuring progress across an extended timeline. Siegemund capturing the first set wasn't a derailment. It was information, and Eala responded to information rather than fear. The third-round opponent is now confirmed as Magdalena Frech, who delivered a significant upset by defeating Iga Swiatek in 3 sets. The Swiatek rematch everyone had been anticipating since the draw was published is off the table. Swiatek, whom Eala defeated on these exact courts in last year's quarterfinals in one of the most shocking results of the 2025 season, was eliminated before the rematch could materialize. The narrative thread the tennis world had been following got severed by Freck's performance. Eala's reaction to that outcome was characteristic. She noted that being in a position where a potential meeting with Swiatek or Freck is feasible represents a genuinely positive indicator for her, especially following today's match. She's not frustrated the Swiatek rematch didn't materialize. She's grateful to be positioned to face either opponent. That framing, appreciation for the opportunity rather than disappointment about the specific matchup, aligns with everything else she expressed after this victory. She has defeated Freck previously, at the ASB Classic in Auckland this year, beating her 6-3, 6-2 to reach the semifinals. She has also fallen to Freck twice before that, at Nottingham in 2025 and Abu Dhabi in 2024. The head-to-head stands at 2-1 in Freck's favor, with Eala winning the most recent encounter. A third-round match at the Miami Open represents an entirely different context from any of those previous meetings. Freck is a capable, experienced player who just eliminated the world number 2. She won't be manageable, but Eala has spent the last 3 hours and 20 minutes demonstrating that she handles challenging opponents in demanding conditions better than her ranking indicates she should. The preparation was completed before this tournament began. The first set proved things could go wrong. The next 2 sets proved it didn't matter. 4 set points vanished in the opening frame. 3 hours and 20 minutes on court. A veteran opponent who made every point uncomfortable, and Alex Eala emerged from it all with a 6-3, 6-3 surge through the final 2 sets, and her words in the post-match interview still speaking truth. Hit that like button if you're invested in her Miami 2026 journey, subscribe and drop your prediction in the comments.